Hey, everybody, welcome to our weekly Ecosystem Office Hours call. I am your host, Jinx, and we are joined, as always, by the best and brightest in the Pocket Network ecosystem. We will hand things off to Olshansky first for protocol updates.
Hello, and thanks for the handoff, Jinx. Protocol update today is going to be very straight to the point and concise. The big update is that V130 is green. We've greenlit V130, and it's going to mainnet next week. So we released it. The quick update is that we released it on beta earlier this week. Everything is working fine. We tested some of the new features, and we've already let exchanges know that the upgrade is going to go out next Tuesday. The release is up on GitHub if you want to see some of the new features. But if I just had to capture one or two bullet points, it's the fact that Relay Miner is a lot more performant, lots of quality of life improvements, and we have experimental metadata on chain.
Hell yeah.
And there's still a few PRs in flight. Those would come in a subsequent release when that happens. But what we'll have now is going to let us experiment and iterate and really test, not just in beta or locally, but in mainnet. And I'm really excited about kind of the general way in which it was designed, because we're not constrained to anything. And that leaves room for experimentation. So that's kind of what we have coming out. And I will hand it off to Fred with some portal and other growth updates.
Thanks, Dolshansky. Just a couple things today. You may have seen that we had a brief outage or reported outage on beta testnet yesterday. Grove is in the process of rearranging a lot of our infrastructure and optimizing it for cost, as we do every now and again. So if there's anything unexpected, kind of that's what's going on in the background, and we'll do our best to communicate if anything else goes down. We'll probably do some juggling on both beta and mainnet resources later, but we'll do a little bit cleaner this time around since we've seen kind of the impacts. That being said, you may also have noticed that we have a huge amount of relays, or an accelerated amount of relays. A couple things there. We are doing our best to maintain a cost-efficient scale to hit that. We're really excited about those relays. We'll keep them coming as best as we can. And then just a general ask, our customers are reporting that BSC mainnet is down in general. So if you are a node runner or a supplier that runs BSC mainnet, please take a look at your configs. I don't believe this is a scale issue. It just seems to be more generally related to node being off sync or something like that. So check that out. I think that's just about it from our end. Yeah, like I said, we'll keep you appraised of any movement or shifting, and we're excited about seeing relays.
Beautiful. Yeah, same. And yeah, we hate to hear it about things like BSC. So I will pass that nudge to Tracy to reach out to F-Chains folks and make sure that we are all up and running the way as expected. Speaking of, and before we get to any additional F-Chains updates, we are looking at building out, if some of you may remember that we used to have peering towers way back in the day on Morse. It was a way that nodes could coordinate together and share some information. We're looking at building out something similar on testnet again in order to gather some additional data and have some clear snapshots of readily available data through identifiable testnet nodes. And we want to make sure that those are from a variety of regions and or providers. So if you are interested in joining a peering tower in testnet, please reach out to Tracy, who just now has heard about this for the first time, but we'll follow up after the call to make sure. I would suspect that that's primarily going to be F-Chains folks who are already, running infrastructure. But if you're just, if you're interested at all, reach out. And with that, I will hand the mic over to Tracy for F-Chains updates.
Hey guys, F-Chains updates. So we have almost all of the validators up and running. There's only 2 left. I don't think either one of them are on the call today, but they are well aware and working on it. F chains as a whole. So we are getting looks like a new node runner that's going to be coming on to run some of the F chains. And then within the next week or two, I'm going to be reevaluating the traffic that's coming through the chains to see where we are as far as the long tail chains versus high traffic, 100% rev share versus 50%. So just a heads up that that'll be coming. If anyone has any questions or wants to discuss that particular topic, just let me know. I think that's it.
Beautiful, thank you. Also, in our further quest to decentralize access to the protocol, we do have 2 confirmed gateways that are going live in the next 30 days. And if you are one of the people who has reached out expressing interest and also setting up your own, we will follow up with you and see what additional support you probably need to do that. There have been a number of updates to the path and portal software repos along the way. Who is off mute? No, hopefully that's done. So I do think that the packages in general are easier to use than before and getting easier along the way. And our team at Raid Guild is also working on trying to turn all of that into one single easy to install server package, including some updates to the portal interface and things along that line. So lots more news to come there. I think that's all primary news and updates, although I always remember other things that I've forgotten along the way. But we'll open up the floor there. Other questions, thoughts, comments, topics of interest to discuss?
I'm just going to add 2 things. Real quick, the status page for Grove moved to grove.city/status. And it's better designed there as well. It's also better for SEO. And on top of that, the Pocket Knife repo, which is basically batch processing added to POKT, is going to hit 1.0 later today. Fred and I have been banging away on moving a bunch of scripts into it. So this lets you do things like mass on stake, mass key generation, a bunch of treasury balance analysis across all different actors, suppliers, validators, etc. A lot of this was built for internal monitoring for ourselves, for myself and Fred, with respect to operating gateway and monitoring operations, financial operations on the protocol. But it's all been done in public. We just have never versioned it. So we're in the process of cleaning it up right now and should be out before the end of the day, East Coast time.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Thanks for that update. In line with that, we have a couple of new Web3 decentralized infrastructure projects that we are on a fast track to some additional partnership with. Our goal is to, as much as possible, build an entire ecosystem of DPIN providers across all of the different layers of decentralized infrastructure, storage, compute, etc. And we are working on sort of a working alignment to build a complete stack of decentralized infrastructure providers that anyone can come in and build full applications on without needing to use any centralized source at all in their stack. So if you have a recommendation or a connect to a decentralized infra project that you think would be good for consideration on that, please feel free to reach out and or foster introductions. We'll be happy to see them. Oh, one other thing. We have soft launched the updated docs, but they are still getting filled out. So you will see that the old docs.pokt.network is now redirecting to docs.pocket.network. That is not complete yet, but it is rapidly being filled in, including incorporating the Pocket Roll docs. So it's all in one place now. So keep an eye out for that. And I know that we have talked before about anyone who's interested in contributing to that. Please ping. That is a very, very active project right now. So if that's something you want to contribute to, please let us know. Ramiro, Pocket Scan advises that they are having some issues right now with the hardware provider. If only there were a decentralized solution for that. That's it. I have to say it. So they will have that resolved as quickly as they can once their provider's back online.
Can we get some insight into the drop-in apps? So I think we dropped 30 apps overnight a few days ago. I assume they're kind of just dead apps being kicked off the network, but can we get some insight into that?
I'm not sure where the number 30 is coming from, but we did unstake because we needed some liquid balancing for restaking. Probably 20 or so apps. Maybe that's where the number 30. But we have at least 60 plus staked currently. I mean, there's 60 plus chains that are listed in the portal, so we have that many apps. But yes, we needed to recoup some funds from those, so we did unstake.
Oh, and that's one of the things as well that's probably worth talking about. We've been discussing at large about how services and such are registered on the network. So one of the things that the foundation is going to do is sort of establish some default services, which are representative of our recommended rates on each of the live data sources on the network. Because the network is fully permissionless and fully decentralized, anyone can register their own services at any rate they want. You know, they can make CUPR of whatever the minimum is, 100 or whatever if they wanted to. But we want to make sure that the foundation services are there and are representative of what our recommended CUPR is for those services. So we will be setting that up soon, and we'll let y'all know once that's live.
I just want to jump back to one thing real quick on the documentation. If anyone does want to help contribute to the documentation or review the documentation, just have their hands in it, please let me know and I can work on getting you access.
Yeah, docs are super high priority. It's taken us a while to be able to get all of that stuff together, and so much of the old stuff was out of date. A lot of the work that's been done was really just digging through all of the old contents, trying to figure out what needs to be brought over and what doesn't. I think that the docs update is probably almost as big as the Shannon update in scope, given that there were literally years of docs of all variation and versions and half done prior to that. So we are super excited about the new docs being up and running, even in their currently incomplete form. Ramiro, you're unmuted. Thank you, sir. Other thoughts, topics, questions? I mean, hell, I like giving you your time back.
Regarding the new services, do we have an update for the price to create a new service?
Oh, I mean, we can set that whatever we want. We intentionally, Grove reached out and said, hey, we want to make sure that people aren't just spamming services on the network. So we agreed to intentionally set a deterrent high fee for now, so that people weren't just randomly registering services. But we can drop that at any point in time as people are ready to start adding actual services in. We just wanted to make sure that we dealt with all of the, bug fixes, performance updates, quality of life stuff, quality of service stuff. But yeah, we can drop that at any point. we do kind of need to discuss what is an appropriate fee level for that, because that was part of the discussion is when you're staking a service, right, it's similar to staking a node or anything else. There probably should be some, some reasonable amount of commitment to staking a service. And I think that, when it was turned on by default in the network, it was at some like tiny thing like 10 pocket or something. So it's probably worth having a discussion what we feel like that initial service stake should be from a community perspective. And I welcome conversation from anyone who's been an active part of the ecosystem to contribute to that conversation. But yes, we can make that change at any time. Kojak asked, did you guys get any new prospects thanks to AWS outage? We have had some interesting conversations lately, including partnership and affiliate conversations. So I don't want to jump the gun in putting out any hard information right this second, but I would suggest yes, and we will be talking a lot more about that very, very soon.
I can comment and just say that a couple key customers did up their traffic over the last 48 hours with regards to the AWS outage, but nothing like very notable where we saw any major driving of signups.
Yeah, we did see some pretty aggressive spikes in traffic there as people fell back, which, to be perfectly honest, good. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. 15K to 18K relay per second spikes.
Did the network behave well during the spikes from path perspective?
Path continues to function exceptionally well. Looking overall, there seems to be some bottlenecks perhaps with Envoy Gateway, which might just be a horizontal scale issue on our end. And then that governs your general kind of uptime. But then also session rollovers continue to be very apparent on chain and cause latency increases as well as failures on requests.
And Crypto's tweet in the chat, I mean, fundamentally agreed. We've been preaching about decentralization for a long time, and I think that there are a number of things that keep technology from more broadly adopting more decentralized solutions, and they're cultural things that we kind of have to work through. One of them is process inertia. The fact is, if you are part of a large organization with deeply entrenched existing engineering hierarchy, generally there is going to be some high-level set of people who are saying, hey, here's how we're going to do things. And you're going to have a very mature and structured DevOps and all of the rest of these things that are required to maintain enterprise class software engineering and platform uptime and all the rest of those things. And a lot of times that default approach in senior engineers or CTOs perspective is hit the one button and spin up the AWS stack that has all of the things that are in it that we expect to have. That's part of the reason why AWS is the single largest provider of these types of services in the world, because you can spin up a whole ass ecosystem essentially with just a handful of button clicks. And especially if you are an experienced user or a mature DevOps engineer who's been using that environment for a long time, you probably already have a number of pre-configured environments that meet your existing need and can be, quickly configured around your particular use cases and all the rest of that. The same way that you have, images for individual laptops, for instance, in an IT environment. So changing process is a much harder path to achieve than simply outlining better features or better options or any of these types of things. Process, especially in large organizations, tends to have a lot of inertia. It takes, it's the difference between spinning around a jet ski and spinning around a cruise ship. So, yes, we would expect to see a lot more thoughtfulness about multi-region failover and other types of things that are already broadly available in the centralized space, but just aren't really done because they're not part of the existing processes that are there. Or they're not considered a priority from a financial perspective or any other number of similar things that act as an obstacle to really good strategy. So I think one of the opportunities that we have as decentralized providers of infrastructure is to, in the course of addressing those failures, lack of multi-region and looking at better failover options, that's an easy place for us to come into the conversation and just say, look, obviously there's a problem here that needs to be fixed, but you're only halfway fixing it with a multi-region approach. What you really need is to have a full load balance stack that includes impossible to fall over options like a multi access point connection to Pocket Network, for instance. Now, that certainly does rely on the network itself being able to support backend requests. So, if all of the BSC requests are failing, that's certainly not something that makes for a strong argument on our point. But working decentralized solutions into the total solution stack for some of these larger organizations is, I think, a good potential or first step opportunity for us to introduce this kind of architecture into, into other people's fallback plans. And I don't mind at all Pocket Network being part of failover for much larger organizations. That's not my focus on where BD should be, because we'd rather have consistent, ongoing, regular daily usage from a lot of smaller users than to just be part of somebody's load balanced backup stack. But getting those people to recognize the value of decentralized infrastructure, even as part of DR plans, can be a beginning step to greater enterprise level adoption of decentralized solutions. So I think from a long-term perspective, we don't get opportunities like this very often, but when you're a high availability organization that's promising 4 nines uptime, 5 nines uptime, to have your primary provider be down for over 12 hours means that your entire SLAs for the year are blown at that point. So that's something that they really have an opportunity to look at from a what are other steps that we can take to reduce our total downtime perspective. And I strongly believe that this is a great opportunity for us to begin pushing decentralized infrastructure aggressively into that mind share. And we have a lot more marketing stuff planned around that over the next 30 days. I don't think anyone's going to forget the AWS outage in the next 7 days or so. So we are going to be hammering on that quite a bit. Other thoughts, questions, topics? All right. Well, In that case, we'll wrap it here and I'll give you all 30 minutes of your life back. Appreciate, as always, everyone joining up for these weekly calls, and we will see y'all again, same time next week, same channel. Thank you, everybody.